Hey guys, we are in week 2 now of e-learning with art, and so this time we're going to be doing a drawing based on the artist style of Georgia O'Keeffe. Now, Georgia O'Keeffe is one of my favorite artists, and that's one of the reasons I chose her. Now, some of you who are 8th grade Art 1, you have done a project where it's similar to the style of Georgia O'Keeffe earlier in the school year, where you took one botanical image, went in close, sketched it, and then used 3 different color schemes to accomplish a triptych based off the artist style of Georgia O'Keeffe. Now I want you guys to actually go into nature, go in your yard, go out in the woods, and I want you to find several things that you can draw and look at. You can even bring those flowers into your home, or you can sit outside and draw. But I want you to focus on the composition of Georgia O'Keeffe, where you are looking at an image up close and personal. That's her style. She often used flowers, leaves, shells, skulls, different things like that she would zoom into really close to where it became more of an abstract piece of art than actually looking like a flower. Some of her images are so up close that you do not even know that it's a flower or a leaf, that it takes on its whole new meaning by an abstract piece of art. So, first thing you're going to do, go for a nature walk. If you are like us, we've been trapped in our house, so when my children have had enough of doing schoolwork in the morning, they cannot wait to go outside. Go walk in your neighborhood, go in your backyard, go for a walk in the woods, and try to find some things that are intriguing. Flowers, leaves, pieces of wood. It could even be part of an antler if you found something from like a deer antler in the woods. Find something from nature that you are going to be looking at and observing and analyzing the shapes, the lines, the colors, and all those things. Once you find your image, lay that in front of you, and you're going to be using those observational drawing skills. Now, we've been working on those throughout the year, where you take something and draw it as you see it, okay? Just because you pick a flower does not mean that every flower is going to be drawn basically like how you see it whenever you're looking at a Hallmark card, or how you drew a flower in elementary school. So just because a flower is asymmetrical does not mean that you're looking at it straight on. A lot of times the way that you view the flower or whatever you're looking at, it changes the shape. And when you're doing the style of Georgia O'Keeffe and you're zooming in and looking for that abstract quality of drawing something up close, it may not even look like a flower. Now, I know we're limited with supplies. Some of you may have pastels or watercolor at home, or you may have just a pencil. Anything you want to use for this is perfectly fine. If you want to strictly do this all in pencil, that's fine. But if at home you do have watercolor paint, or you do have pastels, or chalk pastels, oil pastels, acrylic paint, anything, I am open to see how creative you can be with taking something simple, like a leaf or a flower, or a piece of a tree branch or something, and how you can zoom in and make it your own. I want these to be completed on just like a 9x12 piece of paper, which is about this size. If you have something at home larger, a large sketch pad, and you want to make this larger, go for it. But this is the requirement. It needs to be on a 9x12 white piece of paper. When you are sketching this, remember you're zooming in. You're looking for our good compositional rules. You are making sure that you're drawing it large, exactly what Georgia O'Keeffe did. You're going to run the things off the page. If you're drawing, let's say that you're drawing part of a flower, and this is the center with all the detail, okay, you're not going to want to make the petals stop right at the edge of the page. Okay, you're going to want to make your petal run off the page, pretending that it keeps going. Make sure that you have overlap. You would make this one pretend like it was running off the page, and you can add detail. Okay, and this is just a very simple example of a flower. Okay, so This, if someone looked at just this portion, some people can already tell that it would be a flower, but it would be zoomed in so close, kind of similar to this one. I think this was Amanda Stiles, but similar to this, but it may not be a flower that's asymmetrical, that has a center where everything's the same around it. You may have a flower like a tulip. For example, in my yard right now, I have tulips blooming. Okay, there's a lot of focus when you're doing something like a tulip on the stem and on the leaves. You know, you may not even have inside of your page much of the bloom at all. It may be focused more on the leaves and the way that the shape that they go in, and where it turns it into a whole separate piece of art that's not even looking like a flower at all. It may turn into its own abstract piece of art. Now, once on your white piece of paper that you have taken something that's very small, like a flower or a leaf or whatever, and you have blown it up to where it's huge and fills the page, you've drawn large, you've run things off the page, you've overlapped, and you have filled the space. I do not want to see someone do a drawing where they have like a ground with something coming just up out of the center of whatever you're going to be drawing. You have to draw large, run off the page, overlap, fill the space. Okay, this is not what we're wanting. We don't want to see hardly any background, very minimal background. Now, after you get your image from nature sketched large on your 9x12 piece of paper, then the choice is up to you with your media. And when I say media, that's the materials that you're going to use to advance this forward. Now, if you have watercolor at home, you may use that. Acrylic paint, pastels. Most of you have experience because we've talked about the color wheel and how you use color. If you want to use colored pencils, that is up to you. Or if you want to do this strictly in pencil, you can. You are going to look at your image, your sketch, and you are going to look at your actual flower and see where are the shadows, where are the highlights, what is the texture like, where are the lines, how deep and how wide are the grooves in the flower, and how can I accomplish that with color. Now, based on the media that you use, this may be all in black and white if you're doing pencil or charcoal, or you may do color if you're wanting to use pastels or watercolor or something like that. And this is time for you to also experiment. I think all classes have used pastels and colored pencils. Some classes have used watercolor, some have not. Now, this project is for all ability levels. So I'm obviously going to see differences in students who are in Art 1 versus students who are in Art 3. But I expect this to have lots of great composition, that you're following these compositional rules, and also that you are attempting to use shading, that you're attempting to show the effects of shading with color through color changes. You know, if this is a red flower in your yard that you're looking at, that whenever it goes into the deepest parts where it's the deepest shadow, that you can show that deep red, burgundy, or wherever it has a highlight area, that it maybe the red goes into a red orange, or even into a yellow, or if there's some white where there's a highlight. Look at the detail of this. Now, for this project, by Friday, which gives you all week long for this e-learning lesson, you guys are going to pick an image, pick an object, flower, leaf, tree branch, whatever you want to choose, sketch it on 9x12, come in, color it or shade it with whatever media you have at home. And that is to be turned in by the end of the week, by Friday. Also, you are to do an artist study worksheet on the artist, Georgia O'Keeffe. I will be taking pictures of this up close just to kind of give you some personal information about her. Also, I will take a picture of the timeline, but you can go on any website and read a lot about Georgia O'Keeffe to find out the information to submit into your artist study worksheet, telling me the facts about the artist, telling me things that you like about the artist and how her art makes you feel. And both those things, the project, the 9x12, and the artist study worksheet will be due Friday by the end of the day. So you will have all week to work on this. So I hope you guys can go out and find something in nature that you can enjoy drawing and zoom in on it. Make sure you're drawing large, running off the page, overlapping, and filling the space to make a good composition. When you finish this, you will be taking a picture of your drawing and emailing it to me or submitting it through Google Classroom. Also, you will be submitting your artist study through Google Classroom. You can take a picture to submit it, scan it to submit it, it doesn't matter. But I want you guys to really focus on nature. Try to get outside. If you want to sit outside to draw this whole thing, I think it'd be good for you. But this is a good example in colored pencils of a triptych using that same type of composition. And I hope you guys enjoy doing this. I'll be uploading this soon for you guys, and I hope we are in school soon. Bye.